Today, we're going to be working on doing some mobility stuff for the hamstrings, calf muscles, as well as exercising our way to being a little bit stronger at doing our heel hooks, because you don't want to lose that heel hook power just because of some sort of COVID. As you guys might know, Ryan and I use props in the classes a lot, but a lot of the time, not everybody's going to have those. So we're going to use our foam roller, hashtag Nalgene, as well as a Tupperware lid, and something everybody should have at home, a milk crate. Now, obviously, if you have a roller, you can use a roller. It won't work as well as the Nalgene though. To start off with, we're going to be rolling through hamstrings. Now, the key with rolling, the one thing that a lot of people do, I won't say incorrectly, but not as well, is they just go up and down and kind of do this really going with the fiber of the muscle. But what we want to do is you want to get cross fiber stuff going. So you start off with finding one particular spot in the muscle that feels like it needs a little bit more loving than the rest, and you actually do this kind of like typewriter action from side to side. You want to be moving slowly up and down. You'll be able to see that I'm going side to side but moving up and down the hamstring at the same time. Propping yourself up on your hands means you can let your leg be a little bit heavier onto this guy. If you put your butt down, you won't get as much intensity out of it, but it will still work. So realistically, you want to be doing at least like 60 seconds just grinding into all those pieces of the hamstring that feel like they need to be softened up a little bit. The exercises we're going to do are going to use both legs. So I want you to do, let's say 90 seconds, both hamstrings before moving down into the calves. Things to watch out for though. You don't want to be in the very back of the knee because that's where all of your nerves and pressure stuff is. And you don't want to come too far up into the butt because you'll feel that big bony thing. As much as you won't do damage straight away, if you spend too much time up in there, it can get a little bit angry. So that's probably been about 90 seconds on that guy. Calves. Exactly the same sort of setup. Normally people want to spend a lot of time in the big meat of the calf, but the part that's going to really suck is this middle bit here, which is where all of the muscles that do this kind of action live, the scrunching up of the toes. So again, precious Nalgene, get yourself heavy, add more pressure on top if you're feeling super keen, and you start that, oh goodness, side to side kind of action. Moving your hips are kind of the driver for being able to shift from side to side. Again, you can just sit down here and do this if it's a little bit too intense, but making sure you're slowly working up the back of the calf and all the way down towards the back of the knee. Again, ankle. You don't want to come too far down onto your Achilles tendon. You can get a little bit grumpy. So just above that part and making sure you get a little bit of rotation into the leg as well to make sure that you're getting all the muscles on the very inside as well as all the muscles on the very outside. So again, 60 seconds minimum, 90 seconds is better. Both calf muscles before we get started into these exercises. Exercise. So the key, I'm going to take you through baby's first heel hook strengthening exercise all the way up to pretty much what's just simulating a heel hook. To start off with, it's called a bridge walk. So you lay flat on your back, feet up towards your butt, hands by your side. You lift your hips, and this is the key part, is you want to make sure you keep your hips up as much as possible. Point your toes up towards the roof, so you're just on your heels. And our first exercise is just walking the heels away. As you walk the heels away, you'll feel it load more into your hamstrings. The further away your feet get, the more hamstring dominant it's going to be. And then this key is, as you bring your feet back, you want to make sure that you're lifting your hips up every time you bring your feet up a little bit. So that's walking away and then walking back. If that's super challenging, just stick with that one. If you want a little bit more, you add in a lift. So your feet walk away a little bit, slowly lower, and then press back up. You go to a new level, slowly lower, and then back up. So we're kind of taking that boring old bridge exercise, making it a little bit more fun and a little bit more climbing centric. That's level 2. 3, you lift, walk the feet away, you take one foot off the ground, lower and press, repeat on the other side, lower and press. All of these exercises, what I usually do of a class is I go for a minute and then take a break. 3 sets of a minute, and that's going to be your hamstrings pretty unhappy with what you're doing to them. So that's all of the bridge walk sort of stuff. Now, Tupperware lid. Floors like this, Tupperware lid will work really, really well. But if you've got, say, tiles, you might want to use a towel or something like that. Level 1 with the Tupperware lid. We're doing a thing called sliders. So both feet on the Tupperware, and you slowly slide the foot away. Same sort of deal, but then it's the draw back. Keeping your hips nice and high, that's the hard part. The key is you want to use your elbows to help keep you propped up a little bit, especially on the return, just to make sure that you're using them instead of here and having to use a lot of lower back to drag that Tupperware back towards me. So the key is that slow lower and then fast eccentric. Think 3 seconds to 1 second. 3 seconds on the way down, 1 second on the way up. Again, a minute, take a rest, times 3, cooked hamstrings. One level up from that is, same as before, this is gonna be hard. Shouldn't have climbed this morning. You slowly lower down, driving elbows in, you drag that foot back towards you. See me lose my hips there? That means I don't get to do this exercise. I get to do 2 feet. Slow lower, fast lift. 1 minute each side. Then, the piece de resistance, the milk crate boy. Make sure it's on a surface that won't fall away from you. If you want to get really intense, you add in the climbing shoe. Exactly the same sort of deal as before, only we're bridging. Single leg, because if you can do a single leg on this guy, you can definitely tolerate a single leg here. Lifting towards the roof, and again, it's that slow, lower down, followed by that press. Now, all these exercises, the fact that we're using a Nalgene and a Tupperware lid might look kind of ridiculous, but this is legitimate hamstring rehab and then strengthening. The rehab element is that slow lower down because it lengthens the muscle. And particularly in this part, if I'm having troubles with the attachment side of the hamstring, which is quite high up into the butt, this movement at the hips means that we're lengthening and shortening the hamstring up towards here. So just to recap, each exercise, a minute, break, minute, break, minute, break. That's going to be really, really good. If you're doing singular legs, it means you're doing 6 minutes of work. So you do 1 minute, one leg, 1 minute the other. You start off with 90 seconds, soft tissue stuff on your hamstrings, and then your calves. Even if you're not hitting a climbing wall, you should be able to maintain that heel hook strength. More to come.